The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live. Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful Friday. Trinity, it's a beautiful Friday. I'm the street-certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado here with my partner, Trinity Phillips, the Dharma Guy. Let me show him to you for those that watch this on YouTube.
Hey, what is up?
Why is the camera that low? Look at that.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, man. It
there
just
we go.
It fell a little bit down. That's all.
No bueno, man.
No, man. How you doing, Trinity?
I am fantastic. I don't know if I call it I don't know, man. I'm still
You're
waiting
not
for
feeling
the
fantastic.
Winter. I'm alive, man. As long as I'm alive, it's a good day.
Oh, you're not going to talk on the Couch Live about how you're feeling a little nauseous?
I was feeling nauseous earlier.
Yeah.
I still am a little bit.
You all right?
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I just started feeling nauseous.
Is it something personal?
I told you it was stage
You
fright.
going through a little something you want to talk about?
I told you it was stage fright, man.
Stage fright?
You know, this whole thing's new to me, man, so I'm just so scared. Yeah.
You sure it's not anything to do with the elections? Are you okay
yeah,
with
they
all
made me
that?
sick. I think I'm pregnant, man.
That might be true.
Angel and I got to talk when I get home.
So there's a lot going on.
There's a lot of come on, let's
lot
there's
going on.
political stuff happening. That's all anybody's life has been the last
For 2 years.
It's
2 years.
It's nonstop lately. It's everything I turn on is just political stuff.
That's true.
Every show is political
That's
stuff. True. Every tweet, every Facebook post is something political.
Twitical?
Yeah, Twitical.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't
get Twitical on me.
Don't get Twitical.
Yeah, it's just everything. Even conversations at home, people are talking about
everywhere.
it. It's just political everywhere.
It has completely got
Consumed.
everybody obsessed.
Yeah.
With political news.
Yeah.
Regardless of what side you're on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't even matter.
But what it is doing is it does feel very divided to me, though. Like I've had people
because we've never been divided.
No, of course not.
This is brand new.
Yeah,
this is all this division is brand new.
We've had a two-party system for decades.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways,
and everyone that's talking about divided is actually helping divide it.
But no, it does feel though that and we just did a show on this on Dharma Time about empathy.
Oh, very good plug.
But it feels like there's no middle ground anymore, man. It feels like there's, for whatever reason, it's just either hot or cold, red or blue, or black or white, or whatever. It's just like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're ignoring the middle ground. I'm right here.
Yeah.
I'm right here, middle ground.
Like,
right here.
It's crazy to me.
You liars.
Even the subject we're talking about today.
Yeah.
On here.
Oh, segue back. There you go, Trini. Bring us back.
There's people who are on both sides of the fence, and they're very adamant, and nobody wants to listen to the other side. This is it, and this is why, and you're wrong. Like, wow, all right, well, okay, I feel the same. So,
so where are we going to go with it?
Exactly.
So what Trinity is referring to is we're going to talk about regulation here on the Couch Live today, and the reason we're going to talk about regulation is because I came home from speaking in Jacksonville yesterday, and early this morning I get a phone call or text message from Fox 35, which is a local network, and they want to talk about something the APA put out, which is that the FDA is thinking about regulating vaping just a little bit further, and one of the regulations that they're talking about doing is not allowing vape or certain vape, I don't know if it's certain vape or all vape, certain ones, to be sold wherever kids can enter.
Basically, it says here the FDA, it is a one-paragraph deal.
One paragraph?
Well, I'm trying to limit it to that.
All right.
So it says the FDA will ban convenience store and gas station sales of flavors other than tobacco, mint, and menthol next week. Stricter age verification requirements are also planned for online sales of e-cigarettes. That's the gist of it.
No.
Without going into like insane detail. Basically, what they're saying is they're no longer going to be able to sell whatever, like
blueberry,
cherry blossoms. I don't even know what they are. The sweet stuff, basically, that they claim is an epidemic amongst kids and teens are.
It is.
Doing
It's pretty bad. It is pretty bad. I have to admit, I mean, I have seen more young people vaping than what we would like.
Trevor's doing it.
Yeah, it's just out there, and I think something needs to be done. But regulation, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about regulation? Do they actually help? Because I'm one of those that believe regulation seems to be put in place by people that are kind of out of touch a lot of times.
Right.
They're sitting on some sort of committee, they're sitting on some sort of commission, and they're a little outside the age group. And they regulate something because they feel like they're actually doing something about it. And a lot of times, you may think you're doing something about it, but you're saying that you want to keep it out of the hands of younger people. Yet, if you're watching how younger people are buying their vape stuff, a lot of them are buying it online.
Well, they did say there's going to be stricter age verification stuff online.
Okay. Well, when I used to buy my beer when I was underage, I would just ask somebody outside of a 7-Eleven to buy me beer. Yeah. So if you don't think I can find somebody of age to go through the computer and buy me my vape,
I just, man, I mean,
what?
It just bring up the whole regulation thing to me.
Yeah.
It just feels very like one of the big problems, I think, in this country as far as lawmakers even, as well as just some regular Joes walking around. Right. It just feels very reactionary as opposed to responsive. Instead of responding to something, they just react. It's like, what? They're buying vape and we got to stop them.
Yeah.
Regulate it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if you got to regulate something, to me, it's already too late.
Yeah.
Because if I'm regulating them, if I'm assuming regulation is going to stop you, basically what that means is I'm getting to you after you've already decided that you're going to do it.
100%.
So if you've already decided that you're going to do it, then you're going to find another way. So to me, I think the response should be to figure out why they're vaping, what's making it cool, what's leading them to it, and get to them there before they make the decision.
Right.
Otherwise, give them a different set of facts. Educate them a little bit before they make that decision. Right. Because if you're relying on regulation to stop it, it's never going to work because they've already decided at that point. Like, have you ever tried? Like, I've got teenagers.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to change a teenager's mind once they've already made it up?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I've had much better luck trying to convince my teens of something before they even thought it was a thing. Like, before they even thought of it or whatever, if I can introduce new facts at that point.
Yeah, early.
When the decision starts to arrive, they've already feel like, oh, well, I already kind of know about this. And then they're more objective about the new facts that they're receiving, and they make a different decision. Right. But if I wait until after my teenager's like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm fighting a losing battle, bro. Like at that point, it's like, okay, well, how do I deal with the aftermath? Because it's going to happen.
Right, and that's kind of my issue on this. Actually, my issue on this is that when I was talking to Fox 35 today, and if you want to see that interview and how they're doing the story, and you're in the Orlando area, or maybe you can see it online. It's tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But my issue with the whole regulation is that we're still not giving them the information to young people. We're not talking to them. Look, the Truth Campaign worked. The Truth Campaign was an awesome campaign.
Yeah.
It actually helped a lot of younger people move away from the decision of smoking cigarettes. Look, smoking cigarettes have always smelled nasty, and that wasn't working. They've always killed people. That wasn't working. But for some reason, younger generation people creating commercials and creating campaigns about truth, information, without trying to, I don't know, they were entertaining at the same time. They were just truthful and honest. It was young people speaking to young people. I think it helped. Whereas in this, more older people installing a regulation, like you said, after the fact. I mean, if you're just trying to keep me from doing something I want to do, good luck with that, because if I want to do it, I'm going to do it anyway. But if you educate young people, and I did say that on Fox 35, I was saying just educate them, give them information, have some campaigns of young people talking to other young people with factual information about vaping, because right now, young people believe that most of it is not even nicotine. So if they don't even believe it's nicotine, and they don't believe it's harmful, and it just tastes good, feels good, looks cool, and you can do little tricks to it, and it gives you likes on your social media page by figuring out different then how are you gonna put a dent in the real problem? You know, that doesn't it just doesn't make sense. And vaping is only one of the regulations out there. I mean, we're going to talk about other regulations on today's show, but that's just one of the problems out there that people seem to get focused on.
Well, I think it's you know, and when you were saying that, my mind started to kind of think about just my thoughts on it, I guess.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm and it's anecdotal at best. I don't have anything to back this up, but it appears to me at face value that scare tactics seem to kind of work on adults, I guess. I know a lot of political ads and stuff. They've been coming out with a lot of scare tactics of, oh, no, they're going to do this, you know. And it seems to motivate adults. But it doesn't seem that scare tactics motivate the younger generations as much. And so I think they're relying on scare tactics. You know, the whole don't do drugs are bad. I still remember as a kid, this is your brain on drugs with the skill in the egg and everything. But it didn't work. No. You know, and so I think that part of that reason is as adults, we think about the future. And so we are kind of worried about the future. Whereas kids, you know, you're not really thinking about the future. As a matter of fact, if you're before age of 25, that part of your brain is not even fully developed yet. No. So you're not even really able to process and put together A plus, you know, A leads to Z. Yeah. So I think the way to approach the youth is like what we were both talking about, is just educate them. I think that the one thing I noticed with youth, because I remember there's people in my life, I'm not going to mention names at this point, but there's people in my life that I knew that wanted me to talk to their children, and you're going to laugh about this. Okay. They wanted me to talk to their children, tell them not to get tattoos because they hurt and everything else. And I was like, hold up. Like, first of all, I'm the worst person to do that because I'm covered in them. Number one. Number two, I'm not going to lie to them. Right. I'm not going to lie and try to scare them into doing it. Instead, what I'm going to say is, look, you're going to get one. I really don't care. You're the one that has to live with it. But let me educate you and understand that, look, this is forever. It's not something that you could just take off next week. It's going to be there forever. And understand that certain locations and certain, you know, material could prevent you from getting some of the things that you want in life. Right. Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter, but it could. And you have to understand that. And so that's the route that I chose to take, and it was more effective, I think. And talking to both of the people who I did that with, one, they both waited until they were much older. Right. And so, to me, I think that was more effective. But the route that they wanted me to take was to lie to them and scare them. And I just don't think that works on youth.
Well, and the other way that's doesn't tend to work, and that's why I have an issue with regulation, is the not making it available throughout the normal means we purchase things. Yeah. I think when you
that introduces bad elements.
Man. Well, yeah, I mean, like we were saying earlier, right? I mean, they took, when we were kids. First of all, Playboys used to be right there, right? They used to have the paper porn right there. Yep. But then they put it behind the counter. Yeah. Then they put a cover on it. Yep. Well, that didn't really change the porn industry, did it? I mean, it may have changed the magazine a little bit or whatever. They adapted, but people get their porn where? Online. Yeah. Right? Online. So now, good luck regulating that. Right. So as soon as things go online, I think we've already proven it. We've already seen that as soon as the main method of obtaining something is online, regulation is almost very, very impossible. Right. Yep. It's so much more difficult. Yep. And so with this vaping scenario, a lot of people that are underage, they don't even purchase things the way we purchase. For instance, if I want to buy something, I mean, I'm still very old-fashioned. I think about, well, I got to go to Macy's or something, right? I'm going to go to the store.
See, I think online.
I know. Well, you're younger, and you think a little younger. What I'm saying is I'm very old-fashioned, traditional kind of thinking, and where, you know, I may look at something online or whatever, but I'm still, my purchasing, I still like to feel it, touch it, see it. Right. I'm very tactile, and that's still the way I am, right? Whereas younger people, and typically people my age and above are the ones that try to put on laws and regulations because we're old adults and we figure, this is the way it should be. Yeah. But younger people, they don't purchase the way you and I do. They don't even, a matter of fact, my kids, they're getting mail like every day. Right. My kids never used to say, hey, Dad, did you go get the mail? Now, for the last year or two, it's every several days they're saying, Dad, did you get the mail? Yeah. Did you get the mail? You know what that means? That means, Dad, I took your credit card.
I bought something.
Or I took my debit card, and I bought something, and it's coming. Now, mind you, it's like nickel and diming me to death. It's like $4 here, $10 here, whatever.
They don't realize it adds up, man.
It adds up.
10 purchases of $4 is $40.
It's like all online. So they don't even purchase the way we purchase. So you creating a regulation on vaping or anything, whether it be K2, whether it be kratom. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, they have.
As long as you can purchase it online, we're just feeding into their methodology anyway.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of it, right? Is you don't have you don't have the control that you used to have.
No.
Before, when it was just you had to rely on in-person stuff.
Yeah.
You had more control.
Right.
But nowadays, I mean, you could buy like vaping. Okay, well, I can buy it from China now.
Right.
You couldn't buy it from another country.
Yeah.
30, 40 years ago.
Right.
But you can now.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to change your tactic. You can't come at it from that way anymore. So that's why I think regulation. I mean, dude, if regulations worked, our prisons would be empty. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. Like everybody all regulations are laws.
Right.
Everybody I broke a law on the way here.
Right.
I mean, we all break some sort of a law. Like, so I don't think that's the way to approach
Hence the
things.
helicopter that was coming over. But I mean, so it's education seems to be the key. At least it's what we believe. I think that's what we're both saying, is that educating the person and letting them make a better educated decision rather than a manipulated decision. I think, look, the key factor is the vaping industry and the nicotine industry is manipulating our children. Look, bottom line is there's a lot of manipulation going on. Yes. It's don't believe the hype. It's a sequel, just like Public Enemy said. Because back in the day, we used to believe cigarettes were cool. Cool people do it. Yes. It's sexy.
Marlboro Man.
Yeah. It just everything to do with sexiness and cool was about cigarettes.
Yes.
And if you didn't smoke cigarettes, you just weren't sexy or cool, right? Regardless of how it smelled, regardless of it's so easy to get caught, right? Because you used to have to, wash up like crazy, and it was hard to get that stuff off you. You thought it was off you, but everybody knew that you just smoked, right? There's no, I mean, you thought you were Pepe Le Pew.
For those of us who don't smoke, I can smell it from a mile away.
Remember Pepe Le Pew walk around that green thing? That's the way you are. So, but that was sold, right? And then so it was very difficult. Look how hard it was to take that away. Look how hard. And then it was the Truth campaign that was probably the most successful campaign I've ever seen as far as a prevention campaign.
Dude, I don't even smoke, and it scared me, man. I still remember there's two of them that I remember right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
One was this lady trying to talk to you with a hole in her throat and trying to talk to you. Oh, my God. And that one freaked me out. Yeah. And the other one was this really old, decrepit, like Skeletor-looking dude in a wheelchair trying to talk to us about stuff. Right. Those two images I can't get out of my head. Right. And I don't even smoke. Right. And I was like, I'm not touching that.
Because it's reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's necessary. I think that's what's necessary in our campaign. I think we should learn something from these campaigns. We should learn that. Oh, and the ecstasy one. But let's talk about that for a second, because remember in the 90s, ecstasy was huge. It was making a big thing. And then MTV.
Holes in your brains is all I remember.
You know why you remember that? Because that's what they put it. It was almost like day to night, Trinity. I mean, like one day in my counseling center, we were struggling with it. I mean, parents were calling all the time. I mean, I was dealing with the Families Against Addiction. It was the local charity that I did a lot of work with at the time. Tinker Cooper was heading that up. We were doing so many things on it because it was all in the club scene, and God, it was horrible, right? All of a sudden, MTV puts out this hole in the brain images. It was like a PET scan or something of the brain. Yeah. It made it look like a hole in the brain, but what it was just like the absence of action. And so with the absence of glucose on this imaging made it look like a hole in your brain. And they started, people freaked out. Yeah. You know why that works? Because in our industry, what we don't have in the addiction industry is an x-ray. We don't have an x-ray to be able to show you, look, you're broken, therefore you need help. Yeah, it all appears to be a matter of opinion.
Yeah, there's no like, see right there, that's addiction.
So even if you come to me as an expert and I can show you and explain to you that addiction has taken over your brain, you're completely hijacked, and even though you feel in control, you're not really in control, and these decisions that you're making is not because you really want to make them, but it's because the drug wants it, and here's a lizard brain, and that's the way it works, and blah, blah, blah. And your frontal lobe is now being controlled by the midbrain rather than the frontal lobe controlling the midbrain. I can go into everything I can do.
Eyes glaze over, right on top of it.
But it's an opinion to that person. Yeah. When you're in denial, when you're struggling with addiction, that other thing that a person is saying is an opinion, because we don't have a stupid MRI or a stupid X-ray or something that can show them.
Strip or so, even like just anything. Like, yep, you got it.
Something.
Something. Yeah, that would work.
I need a blood test or something.
Yeah, something. Anything that just be like, yep, you got it.
Yeah.
You're screwed, man. You got it.
Right?
Now this is how we got to treat it. We got to start doing this and this and this now.
So that should be the focus. The focus and the research and the money needs to be going to, we need some sort of visual test to be able to show people that your brain is being hijacked. by drugs and alcohol, by nicotine, by anything.
Is there something that you got endorphins and stuff that are released? I mean, is there? Is there like a reactionary kind of test we could do?
Yeah, brother, if we're able to understand the way the dopamine reward system is done, if we're able to understand the way addiction now works, we've marked the areas of the brain. We've marked the D2 dopamine receptor gene and all these other little receptors and we know that the mu receptor and how it works with opiates, and we know that when you drink alcohol, it grabs all your natural endogenous opioids and it floods all your opiate receptors, and that's why opiates and alcohol tend to be similar. We understand all this now, but we need the visual.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, like, is there, all right, so we know that if you consume whatever your addiction might be, you get the cascade reward and all sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So is that 100% different? In other words, is there a true bona fide reaction within the brain that only happens with addiction? In other words, could you run into the problem of, hey, based upon this scan, you've got addiction? And the person's like, what do you mean? No, I haven't.
Right.
I can go like a month without even touching that. Like, what?
Right.
In other words, so is there a way where it's like, nope, you absolutely have it?
No, I think what's missing is the ability to show. I think here's what we do have. We are able to see activity in the brain, right?
Sure.
We're able to show, like, if your brain is connected to this machinery, we're able to see that when you see these images, this part of your brain lights up.
Yes.
So I think that if we were able to show that more, get that a little bit more cost effective, get that a little bit more
but even that's more
sophisticated.
That's more of a what if, though.
No, it's not, because you can actually show a person that, look, even though you think that image is not making the part of your brain that actually crave, because you think you want it, right? But I can show you that by showing you this, your brain lights up even though you don't want it to. I want you to sit there. Here's where I think we can go with it. This is your answer.
All right.
I would want to sit you down and say, I want you to sit there and think, I don't want it. I want you to think I'm not going to crave it. Now, and I'm going to show you that by showing you this image, your brain wants it even before you do. And if I could show you the part of your brain where your urges,
that's
your
like
reward.
Pavlov's dogs.
Right. You can't argue Pavlov's dogs, though.
No,
right?
but
you can't argue that showing food to a dog, they're conditioned to be hungry.
I'm just trying to put myself in that position.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I would be as convinced, because to me that still feels like I got to have faith in your theories. To whereas an actual test.
No, I'm not talking about theories.
Huh?
I'm not talking about theories.
I'm telling you what it's going to look like from the outside looking in.
Theories?
If I still think, to me it's a theory, if I'm sitting here and my life is fine and I feel like I'm not addicted to anything and you're telling me, oh, well, you're going to want, yeah, of course I'm going to want, but my life is fine. To whereas you tell me I got cancer and there's a straight up test that says you absolutely.
No. Yeah. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm talking about brain function.
I understand you,
but that's not a theory. If I show you a brain, reacting a certain way,
you're not. What I'm saying is the average, like people I know who don't believe in addiction and things of that nature. You tell them that, it's not going to affect them.
Tell them. I'm not telling. I'm showing.
It's not going to.
I don't look at it as an MRI as a theory. I don't look at it as a test that tells me I have cancer as a theory.
Me either.
This is science. All right. So if I show you a brain that has a certain brain function attached to it, before and after, during, and it's your brain. This is not a theory. That you're watching it.
What I'm saying is the theory.
This is not an aura. This is not I'm sending you to Casadega and I'm going to take pictures and you're going to see orbs.
I agree. I'm playing devil's advocate here, and I'm telling you, the people that I know.
I don't think you're playing devil's advocate.
People I know.
I think you're using words that aren't related to science. You're saying theory.
You do realize there's people out there who don't believe in science, right? Like. There's people out there who question science every day. I know people in my personal life who don't believe in studies. If you know people that
don't believe in MRIs and don't believe in their X-rays,
no, I have people in my life who don't believe in studies.
I'm not talking to them. If you're out there, by the way, and you don't believe in an X-ray and you don't believe that your bone's broken because they showed you and you didn't understand that little line is a hairline fracture, you are. I can't help you. Like, I can't fix stupid. I can't fix stupid.
But I don't know if...
Good luck with you. I'm talking about the people that can look at an MRI, can look at an X-ray, and if we have developed our science enough to show you this is a normal receptor, this is your receptor, this is normal brain function, this is your brain function, this is how it's... I'm not saying that it's going to answer anything other than it's going to allow you to at least think, wow, I don't feel the difference happening, yet the brain function is obviously reacting different. I think when it's very personal, when it's yours, it just allows your brain to naturally come up with whatever decisions you want. Now, if you're going to still be
Denial's a hell of a thing, man.
It is a hell of a thing, but that's why you need visuals and that's why you need personal testing. But those same people that are in denial, because you could be in denial that you don't have cancer, but when they show you that cancer in your body, you're still going to say, yeah, go ahead and cut my brain open. And that's what we're missing. And I think once we have that, regardless of how powerful the disease of addiction is in you, once you have something visual that shows you, look, there it is. This is it. It's not a theory. It's there's science showing you that it exists. Now, if you're just going to be aggressive about it and be like, well, that doesn't exist, well, then good luck with it. I mean, I can't help you. I'm not talking to that person, though, because normal people, regular, normal, average addiction people that are addicts are still human. They still can look at information and gather a new opinion based on information. It might still make me want to get high. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I might still want to get high, but at least I'm looking at my brain, not your brain,
right?
Not someone else's brain. I'm looking at my brain.
Saying my brain responds to stimulus or something to me doesn't necessarily automatically mean I'm an addict now.
Oh, that's just the beginning. I wouldn't say that.
To me, that's what I'm saying. The theory is, if this is lighting up, then you're automatically going to be an addict.
I didn't
that's
say
not,
that. I never said that makes you an addict.
No, but that's the implication there.
No, that wasn't the implication.
I've got to be careful because my brain's already doing this. Right?
No. That wasn't the implication. That's just an understanding of an explanation of self-will and an explanation of desire of what I was talking about with that particular test.
But then how's that? But we're trying to figure out a test of saying you've got addiction.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if you're not using that as a test to say I have addiction, then what is the point?
Because before addiction, because listen, there's a difference. Before addiction, you need to have testing that can show. I'm talking about prevention. We're also talking about prevention, and so I'm saying in prevention methods, you need to be able to show younger people of how the brain is manipulated by things early on. Period. Whether it be commercials, I think if we had classrooms that actually showed us that when we watch this commercial, it makes you hungry. Young people would start to understand the power of manipulation, the power of influence, the power of commercialism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's how you get to a place of prevention. And so what I was talking about was that if I could show you that this is your brain already, I want you to try not to think about it. I want you to tell yourself, I'm not hungry. And I'm going to show you this part of the brain that says you're hungry is going to light up and it's going to say you're hungry, even though you say no. And so once we get to that,
I agree 100%
then we get further. Well, that's what I was trying to say.
But I thought we were trying to come up with a test to say you have addiction.
Yeah, but we're getting there. I'm getting there.
Right.
So you get to that part of it. Now you can help younger people just understand brain function a little bit better. Sure. Because I think what happens is you have a lot of people out there that don't believe in brain function. They want to believe, well, I'm different. That may be you. That may be somebody else, but I'm different. See, I don't think like that. And then as soon as someone starts thinking they're so different, they're not realizing.
Everybody thinks they're the outlier.
They're not realizing, look, a car is a car is a car. A human's a human is human. You're a lot more complicated, yes. But there's a certain way that your brain works, no matter who you are.
Everybody thinks you're the outliers.
Right.
In every scientific study, no matter what it is, there's always outliers.
And you have outliers. And that's going to happen.
But everybody thinks that they're the outlier.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that they're the one that we'll use cigarettes as an example.
Right.
Because in the fitness industry, one of my even at Tropical, dude,
Yeah.
one of my hidden secret goals I always had at Tropical was to get somebody to stop freaking smoking cigarettes, right? And they would come up with, to me anyways, I felt like the dumbest excuses on the planet on why they would keep doing it. But I was like, whatever. But when I would bring up cigarette smoking and talking about how it says on the box it's going to kill you,
right on the box,
yeah. You know what? Everybody without fail, and I'm not even being anecdotal here. I'm going to say everybody would say this to me. Oh well, such and such smoked until they were 90, and I'm like. Yeah. That's the outlier. How many? There's millions of people that die from it, and you pick like the one lady that you know, and then all of a sudden that gives you're not the outlier. You're not the Michael Jordan of smoking cigarettes.
Right.
You're going to die from this at some point. But everybody thinks that they're the outlier.
Yeah, we do like to do that. I mean, as humans, we all think we're the Michael Jordan of everything.
Mind you, we've done numerous studies, so somebody has to fit within that major category.
Right, but that's why I believe when you're younger, I think here's what I would like to see happen in our future. Instead of the regulations, I'd like to see in our future
regulations don't work.
That like somewhere around those early ages, those developmental ages before a lot of things happen, like 5 to 10. I think if we could start doing some brain testing and show some brain imaging in 5 to 10, and then update it again 5 years later, or as things in your life happen.
Right.
Then you're able to see how your brain has changed, or how your brain has lost certain function in certain areas. And so you take the theories that we have, and then you match it with the science of being able to see it, and then you're able to say, wow, now this matched this, what they told me could happen.
Yeah.
I'm now seeing it start to happen, and the only thing that really changed was I started smoking, or I started drinking, or whatever. Right. And I think those things are important, because I think if we would have that testing already initially, for instance, like as a kid, you do your fingerprints at some point, right? And fingerprints just don't change, right? Fingerprints are fingerprints. Yeah. But if we had a theory that says, you know what, if you do this drug, fingerprints change. Well, if you've never taken my fingerprint at all, and then you tell me that, and I never even take my finger, that's just crap. I don't believe that. But if you took my fingerprint at 5 years old and then you took it at 20, and in that time period I started using that drug, then I'm able to see, wow, that's weird. And so if I show you that, well, the percentage of people that their fingerprints change have done this drug, then now it becomes a little bit more real. And I think that's the kind of science we need to get to, rather than just try to scare tactics, or rather just try to regulate something, or rather just try to tell people you shouldn't buy this because, if you smoke pot, you're going to become a heroin addict or something like that. Those kind of tactics never worked for us. But what does work was the truth campaign. What did work was that ecstasy campaign that showed you the brain and showed you the PET scan and said, look, here is the brain on ecstasy, and here's the normal brain, here's that brain. Right. That freaked people out instantly. Everybody remembers that.
I mean, the things that I think, I'm just trying to think that what has worked for me in the past, and what I've seen has even worked for you.
Right.
And I think you and I both we talked about this the other day, we both kind of build rapport in
yes.
kind of the same way. And that's just kind of relating to them on their level, and just being what not to sound cliche, but being real, essentially.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt. I'm gonna tell you kind of this is what it is. Yeah. That's what I've had the most success with. Not only personally happening to me growing up, but also in my own home with my own teenagers, with other friends, with other family. Like, it's not spouting facts. It's not spouting statistics.
Right.
It's not threatening them. It's not telling you what's going to happen to you and all these other things. It's just talking to you and saying, look, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you some information here. Now, you think a certain way, and that's totally fine, but let me just let you know there are other statistics out there, and kind of talking to and just having dialogue with them works so much more out of the time.
Connectivity works.
Yeah. Like, and I think that's what people don't have these days, or they don't pursue in the same way. They think that they could just put regulations and move on to the next subject.
Well, I mean, in all fairness to the people putting the regulations up, they got to justify their position somehow.
Well, and I'm sure.
And what can they do?
Mindset.
They got to do something, right?
Yeah, of course.
So for instance, like, look, if we're going to talk regulations, let's talk about some of the regulations that are in place that get violated, and then it still has us doing the same argument. It still has us with the same problem, meaning these shootings, the one that happened in California. There's regulations in place. There's no other state that has more regulations against gun control than California, and yet it's still happening. In other words, we can put all the regulations in place, but pain is pain, and pain is still happening.
Aren't all illicit drugs illegal?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right.
We have a drug epidemic right now, and they're all illegal. Yeah. I mean, they're not legal.
Look, we can look for scapegoats, and we can look for who's the problem and what's the problem. But the key is that until we can show people something so severe within their own self, by the time I'm using, like you said earlier, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with trying to convince me not to do something once I'm already using. Those people that you said that smoke cigarettes, that were hard to convince to get off cigarettes. It's so much easier to prevent somebody from smoking cigarettes than to get them off cigarettes.
I agree.
Once they're smoking cigarettes, good luck with that. Because the pleasure impulses per second involved in nicotine use is so huge. The amount of satisfaction a person gets within that brain system is so huge. And the way that midbrain just tells the frontal lobe, you better do this or else you're not going to be able to concentrate, you're not going to be able to relax, you can't think, I'm not even going to let you work anymore. You know what? And it starts yelling at you.
Right.
So the only way to quiet that yelling is I got to go smoke real quick and then it'll shut up.
Yeah,
you're going to do it.
And even in my in my house, I remember so many conversations that I've had, and they're delayed responses, I guess. From a parent's perspective, we want the quick fix. I want to be able to tell you not to do something, and it's done.
Yeah.
But I remember, just the other day, I've had these conversations. to where I'll say something to somebody in my household, like a kid, and I'll be like, look, if you're going to go out and do this, then this, and this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, they kind of ignore me.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be like a year later. Mm-hmm. They'll go do something, and they'll be like, oh, my God, he literally told me this. And they learn by doing the exact opposite of what I told them to do.
Correct.
But then they come to me, and they're like, you remember when you told me, it did happen. I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I don't tell you these things because I'm bored. Right. But that gives me credibility, and then they start to listen, and then it starts to kind of build that thing here, and that's how you reach them.
And predictors do work, and I also use those in my practice all these years, and a lot of clients will call later and they said, look, you told me if this is in the same kind of thing, and those work. Here's the issue with that, though. The problem with that is a lot of you out there are trying to do that method, but you're doing it with like inflated information or inflated tactics.
If you smoke weed, you're going to die.
Yeah, so you kind of have to scale that down to something just a little bit more. Yeah. What's probably going to happen in the near future? You got to be real, and you have to have the real information yourself. And I think the problem with things is there's a lot of misinformation, and outliers do exist, but like we've been talking about, we can't focus on the outliers. You got to focus on the masses. You got to focus on the averages, right?
Well, using that same statistic, there's 90. I was watching this thing on student athletes. 93,000 student athletes went to college. It's 2016. 300 and something of them made it pro. All of them thought they were going to. 300 out of 90-some thousand. So in real life,
made it pro to what?
Pro whatever sport they were going to, like NBA, NFL.
Are you talking about a certain
and collegiate athletes?
Only 300, but there's a lot of sports.
Yeah, I know.
Only 300 made it into the pros. That doesn't even sound like the draft had more than 300 people.
Not all of them got signed though. A lot of them don't get signed.
Interesting.
But my point being is, they all walked into it thinking that they're going to be pros.
Right.
No, you're not. Right. Like, you're not a pro. And so with like the weed thing, oh my God, how many times we've heard that?
Yeah, that's its own show right
there. My
there.
brother smokes weed and he's a doctor.
Yeah.
Like, well, these other 100 people over here smoke weed and didn't do this.
He doesn't smoke weed like you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Your doctor brother doesn't smoke weed like you do.
Yeah, not that I'm for or against weed. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that they're the outlier.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, it's weed, cigarettes, even sex, man. Like, you can come up with a million people who have like some sort of STD.
Right.
But the next time the person goes into the situation, like, I know this person. And so the people who caught the STD, you think that they didn't think that they know that person? No, they thought they knew that person as well. Like, come on.
STDs are so good looking sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
But you gotta wrap that damn rascal, man. That's how
my point. Though,
don't do it or wrap the rascal. That's how you.
For whatever reason, we here in America, maybe it's exceptionalism. I don't know, but we all think that we're the outliers. Yeah. We all think that we're the ones that's going to be different and we're going to break through.
And that's why regulations don't really work all the time. And there's other methods of getting it, like even with this gun control and things like that. I mean, I just the word gun control, yes, that makes sense. Of course, you need that. But then you have to if you're going to create something, you gotta back it up with the strength. And so what's happening is like the one that happened here in Parkland, like the one that happened here in Orlando, like the one that happened in California. These shootings all there were laws that weren't followed within all those three scenarios. Yeah. The regulations that were in place just weren't all followed. So if you're going to have these regulations, then you got to back them up. There's already something in place in California that if you suspect that your loved one is a danger to himself or others and they're a gun owner, you can there's a process for them to get their guns removed from.
Actually, yeah.
That's in place. Yet, what we're hearing is we need that in place. It already exists. It just wasn't done.
Actually, it's up in Washington too. Actually,
so the point is that so we can put regulation upon regulation upon regulation. It doesn't matter. So how many times have I heard assault weapons in the last 24 hours? This wasn't an assault weapon.
Well, even in AR-15's not an assault weapon.
But what I'm saying, this was a pistol.
Well, yeah, but he was also a Marine. He was trained, baby.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, and it had an extended magazine. Oh, that must have been it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bump stock, and it wasn't an assault rifle. Yet, again, when we have our own ideas of what needs to happen, we just use whatever information to do it. So regulation, yes, I do believe there's some regulations that make sense. But it's still, and I'm not saying it's not necessary, but you have to couple regulation with some other sensibility.
Well, let's just say you can't just
Right?
do a regulation and walk away with like,
Right.
oh, all right, I'm done.
It's like doing medication without counseling for addiction treatment. You don't just do medication then no counseling. You don't just take Suboxone and then you do no counseling. You don't just do Vivitrol and no counseling. You don't just do methadone and no counseling. If you're going to do medication-assisted treatment, then you couple it with counseling. You couple it with going to meetings. You couple it with all the other stuff, because there's no medication that's going to detach your relationship from that substance.
Well,
that's a deep-rooted friendship, relationship, trust that you have with that substance, and no medication is going to detach that.
Yeah.
So regulations just don't work.
Even in the fitness
alone.
industry. In the fitness industry, if you go get a lap band surgery, but you don't modify your behaviors, it's coming back.
Yeah.
If you didn't stop the behaviors that started it in the first place, you can do whatever surgery you want. It's coming back.
No matter how small that stomach is
Yeah,
now.
it grows, it expands.
Yeah.
I mean, it expanded in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, even
So
though
you can't just put a regulation on like this vaping thing.
Mm-hmm.
They can't just put this regulation and expect in 6 years vaping's just non-existent amongst teens anymore.
Right.
I got bad news for you. Like, it's not going to work. I'll be the soothsayer here. I promise you that won't work.
Right.
What's going to work is somebody like another truth campaign or something's going to have to happen to make it not cool anymore.
Yeah.
Once it's not cool, that'll stop it, and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But if right now it's still cool.
Right.
So to be honest with you, if they wanted to make it that way, they should be going and getting some of these like celebrities who are out there to go against it maybe and start making it uncool in popular culture, and then it would stop it. That way, I don't know if it would stop it, but I would have a greater impact in stopping it than telling them gas stations they can't sell it anymore.
Right.
If they look and their favorite people that they look up to and they're watching YouTube videos all day long are bashing it and against it, they're less likely to do it.
Right. And look, I know it's unpopular to say, and you know, I don't currently practice as a private practitioner, so I can say a couple of things that
I'm gonna get you a vape pen for Christmas, by the way.
Yeah, let's try it. I'm willing to try it. But
no desire.
But here's the sad thing. We have casualties of war. We just do. And I think every soldier that goes to war knows that there are some people that are just not going to make it back. There's going to be some casualties of war. And I think in human life, I think we have to get back to the understanding that we're not all going to make it. We're not all going to make it to old age. Okay. Some of us are going to make some life decisions that aren't going to make it. And I think if we have a lot more...
This feels like it's going to a controversial way.
Maybe. I'm just saying that if there was a lot more, instead of all the little kids' books all being all nice and sweet and trying to get me to relate to anybody, and if you want to identify a certain way that I got to, understand and accept, and I get it. We all needed that. It was very necessary for my generation, more so than the younger generation. The younger generation gets it. The older generation, I mean, just hard-headed old people, they're going to be gone anyway. Don't worry about it. It's going your way. We're getting more understanding.
You're on fire today, baby.
I'm just saying.
Let's do it.
But what needs to happen is we have to need a real-world understanding that we're all not going to make it to 49. I made it to 49. I thought I was dying at 18. So to make it, or before 18, so to make it to 49, it's an extreme accomplishment. I've made it 25 years marriage. I was told that's never going to happen. That doesn't happen in today's world. People all get divorced. 50% of people end up in divorce, which is an inflated number. It's actually not true. But that's what I was told. So to make it in so many things, I think we need to also get an understanding that some of us aren't going to make it.
Right.
So if we start educating our children and say, well, what are the factors that allows this person to make it through the conflicts that exist in this person not? And just start having young people answer these questions on their own.
I swear to God.
What?
Were you in my house or something?
Well, did you have this conversation?
I literally just had this conversation with my daughter like not even a week ago.
Well, it's important, right? It's important to understand, what allows you to make it through the minefield. Right? If John walked through a minefield, and he went 3 steps left, 2 steps right, 3 steps left, 2 steps right, and he made it all the way through. And then Tim walked straight and he blew up. Which one am I going to follow? I mean, give me the education as a young person to know. But let me play games and let me do some actually live things, because we have so much technology now that allows me to get that type of memory of how to use other people's pain, other people's suffering, other people's failures as a learning lesson. Go ahead. Tell me what you did.
Oh, no.
Now I'm curious. What you do in your household?
I think I already told you.
Well, yeah, but not on the air you did.
No, it just, I was trying to get my daughter to understand why grades are important, help motivate her, things of that nature. Yeah. And so, I had her write down all the bills that we have in our house. and then I had to write down what the average person would make at a minimum wage job, and have her look at those two numbers and realize that they just don't work. So I was like, you're going to have to get rid of a lot of the stuff, whatever. And I basically told her, long story short, one of the things I said to her was, right now you're on your, everybody who's born is on the path to being a loser.
Right.
Because you don't have to do anything to
That's
end
an
up.
interesting one.
Well, you don't have to do anything to end up a loser.
Right.
Like, you can end up a loser. You don't have to try for that.
Right.
It's like, but the difference is a lot of people don't end up as losers because they do something different to get off of that path.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you doing right now?
Do what the winners do.
Yeah, what are you doing to get off your loser path?
Right.
And I'm not calling my daughter a loser, but I'm just saying, if you're not trying hard in school, if you're not trying, what are you doing to prevent yourself from hitting that wall that's coming in front of you? Because we're all faced with it. Every last one of us who are not living on the streets made a choice to not live on the streets.
Oh, there's a lot of barriers. You got to learn how to maneuver.
Well, you got to learn how to speak English, or here in America, anyways.
Not really, but okay.
Well, whatever.
If you're Latino, bro, we got Spanish communities, brother. Good luck with that. Now, if you're Swahili speaking, good luck with that. There's not any neighborhoods.
But you have to have some sort of degree. You got to follow some of the rules.
Right.
Like, you got to do certain things to be able to sustain yourself.
Well, like Frogger, if you don't look both ways before you cross streets, you're gonna die.
Sure.
You're just not even gonna make it out of a certain age.
Sure.
And there's idiots out there that still haven't learned how to cross the street.
I just want the record to note that I whooped you on Frogger when we played.
You did. You actually
just
did.
want the
You
record to
did.
show that.
Yeah, you did. You did.
But
we'll have a rematch. But my point is, in other words, every kid out there. Look, I'm already the strongest, fastest swimmer. I already beat a bunch of people. I swam faster than a bunch.
That's right.
A bunch of
We're
little
all born winners, man.
bro. I was so. You should have seen me, Trinity. I was so fast. I was
Heck
so
yeah.
my little squiggly was squiggling.
Oh yeah.
And I made it, and I'm a selfish mofo. I didn't even let anybody else
That's
in.
right, man.
I had a lot of little twins who were saying, "Look, but I can look just
Stiff-armed
like you.
them.
I can look just like you.
Yeah,
It
get
could
outta
be
here."
so cool. It could be Louie and Luigi.
right.
We could always, we could have little inside
Be
jokes."
gone.
And I said, "Nah, this
Get
ain't
outta
gonna
here.
happen. This is my egg. You want to find one, find another egg, but this is mine.
Yep.
I'm willing to be a fraternal twin." If you want, I'm willing to be a fraternal twin, but that's on you. If you can make it in like I made it in, we could be a fraternal twin.
Yeah.
But as far as identical twin, you coming in my egg, that's not happening. So then I won that. And then as life went on, I realized how to make it home safely. There were certain neighborhoods I even lived in that I had to learn how to make it home safely. I learned how to look both ways. And at certain ages, that was difficult because I remember walking across the street, and I would touch the car because I was so cool to do that. Like the car was crossing, and I'm doing my cool walk, and I just made sure I got close enough to touch the car as you drove by, just to show you I ain't scared of you, car. Yeah. So when I went through that age, man, I don't know how I didn't die, but I didn't.
Right?
So
you get hit by that one truck.
Yeah, and then there's all the little violent stuff that has happened, and all the driving, motorcycle, whatever. So there's all these things that happen in life, and you figured out a way to survive it, right?
Yeah.
But you did it, and there's a lot of luck involved. And I think, unfortunately, we don't ever give attention to luck. There's a lot of luck involved, or outside factors.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
Yeah, there's a lot of outside factors that have existed, that have helped me be here, right? I'm not here because I'm the Michael Jordan of cocaine use. I'm here because there was a lot of people in place, my mom, my dad, my brother, Dana, a lot of you out there that have helped me along the way that allowed me to have this time period of 30 years without doing cocaine. You know what I mean? And survive.
Oh, it wasn't because of regulations?
It definitely wasn't because of regulations.
You just made my point.
So the factor is that if we can teach people how to be good students, because even though I was a horrible student in school, I was a great student of those that I edified, who were edified to me, who I looked up to, who I had a rapport with, or I saw, man, that is somebody I'd like to emulate. And when I looked at what they had, and I wanted what they had, and I followed what they did to get it, at least to the best of my ability and training that I could do, I was successful. And I think that is a lost art. I think the art of today is to say, be who you want to be who you are. Nobody can tell you different. Nobody knows you but you. You do you. You do you. Well, you know what? If I would have just done me, I'd be dead. Because I didn't know how to be a 49-year-old successful man married to a woman 25 years.
I didn't want to be that.
I didn't want it.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that.
That's what I always say. If you would have told me I would be with the same woman for this many years, 28 years,
I wouldn't have wanted that.
And never cheated on this woman in 28 years, I would have said, what?
Yeah.
Why the hell would I want that?
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
You're going to tell that to a 17-year-old kid?
Yeah. I didn't want my life that I have now.
No. So we have to better understand what motivates a human, and we have all the science and research to show it. Yeah. We need to start listening to ourselves and do that, because instead what we're doing is we're becoming a nation of just people that they're just saying, well, the world has to change for me and then I'll be successful. If the entire world just would stop calling me a name, then I'll be successful. If everybody would just, vote my way or be my way or think like me, then I'll be successful. No. Look, man, thicker, stronger skin makes it. If this is such a tough world, stop trying to make the world less tough and make yourself more tough by not letting things hurt you. Yeah. That's something you wanted to say. I saw that smile on your face.
There's certain things that just reminded me of stuff, like with the regulations thing, about how it's just interesting. In the same week that they announced regulations on vaping, because they say that the young people are doing it and they're not getting them off of it. Right. They also announced, it wasn't the FDA, but another thing came out recently. I think it was pediatric psychologist or whatever. They're saying they're recommending laws and stuff now against spanking your kids, because they say studies are showing that spanking just doesn't really work the way they thought it did. It actually causes other psychological issues for them growing up. Towards instead, you reward their good behavior and positive reinforcement, things of that nature works more efficiently. And then even with puppies, if you rub a dog's nose into their urine or whatever and spank them with it, it doesn't really. It just makes them fear you or fear the newspaper. Right. But if you give them a little treat every time they go outside, the reward thing, like, oh wow, wait a minute, I want to do this more. But yet we still regulate. Well, it doesn't work, dude.
It's never worked.
It's not gonna work.
It's never worked.
Even with my own kids, I don't. I make sure that I try to hold my kids accountable for grades, for instance. Right. So I make sure with the 14-year-old, I haven't had her since birth. I've only had her for 3 or 4 years now. And so I get on to her about her grades, and I try to take some things away and minimize her rewards because of her grades. But when she does do good things, I'm very quick to say, hey, good job. I like what you did here. I want to reinforce that. And with my younger ones that I've had since birth, I don't have to say much about their grades because they're so young. But instead what I do is when they get their A honor rolls and stuff, I make sure I make that a huge deal. I make sure I'm like, that is so awesome, guys. I'm so proud of you. Because I want that, I think that sticks more as opposed to, well, you better keep getting that or you're going to be in trouble. It just doesn't work. Well, I think that's what the regulation comment is.
I think we like to hear ourselves. I think we like to sound like we're being tough. And I think when we put regulations, I think we feel like we're being real tough. If you get a bunch of dads together talking about dating daughters, I mean, look, even I used to talk differently about it until now. I have daughters that are dating age, and I watch the way I interact with the guys, and it's working. Sure. I mean, I'm not doing scare tactics. I have weapons, and I don't bring them out and show them the weapons. I don't even threaten that I'm going to get them with the weapons. But at one time in my life, I thought, shit, I'd just be here with my gun.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, but then you get to that point and you realize there's such different connectivity that I have with my kids that's not even necessary because she's making the right choices. So why don't we get to the point where young people can make some brilliant choices, but our kids are not going to be more prepared for this world if we keep telling them how bad the world is. If we keep pointing out all the big bad wolves of the world and say, see, they're the problem, not you. You're doing fine. No, the one that's most adaptable is you, my child. So this is how you navigate, because if the world is like that, this is how you navigate. And I'm not going to do it out of fear. I'm going to show you a Frogger way. Left 2 steps, right 2 steps, left 2 steps. I'm going to show you.
Ask Vlad the Impaler how that works.
Yeah, I'm just. It just makes sense, but yet we don't want to buy into it. For some reason, we want to child-proof the entire world. And that is our solution. Or, let's take every word out there that could be offensive to somebody, and therefore it's going to be easier, softer world. No. How about the sticks and stones may break my bones and words will never hurt me? What happened to that? You can use whatever word you want. As a matter of fact, I just had this conversation with a professional up there, what I did in Jacksonville. He was saying, we're trying not to use the word clean anymore, and we're not trying to say, he was trying to tell me, and he was saying some good things. But what I told him is I said, look, at one point in time in my life, wetback bothered me. At one point in time in my life, beaner bothered me, and it would have got you hit upside the head with some sort of crowbar or something like that. I said, but I had to realize it was my sensitivity and my issues that was causing that. And because I don't ever want to live in a jail cell, and I can't change every person out there that might use those words, I had to desensitize myself to those words and realize you're allowed to be a jerk, you're allowed to be racist, you're allowed to not understand me, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, I still want to go home.
Well, you're giving somebody power over you.
Correct.
That's your
Correct.
You know,
but that's what we're teaching our kids. We're teaching our kids weakness by telling them, no, the whole world should understand you and get you. You just do you.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
No.
We're running out of time, man.
Yeah, we are running out of time.
We
Do you have any last words that you want to say?
Well, we got to reward somebody.
Oh, God.
There's an announcement we got to make.
We got to make an announcement. And
is this person even on? I mean,
let me see.
We promised to do it a long time ago.
No,
we haven't. We got to get it out.
Man, we want to call her. How do you do that? Let me see if I can do it from here.
You have enough time.
What do you mean?
We got like a couple minutes.
Really?
Yeah. We got 3 minutes.
What if I try it?
Let's do it.
Let's see. Let's call. Wait, I don't even have it hooked up. Where's my hookup? Boom, boom, boom. Ah! Hold on.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
No. Here we go. Hold on. Give me a second.
Are they on the phone already?
I don't know. Is it ringing?
I don't know.
Which number is it? Which one is it? Hello? Are you there?
It's a good thing we planned it all out.
I don't know. I didn't plan anything out. That's the problem, right? Are you there? Hello? Hold on. Let me try it again.
Nothing but the best here.
Awesome.
WPS
I love it.
99.
I love it. Don't you make fun.
No, I love it.
Is this plugged in for real?
I don't know. Is it? Yeah.
I'm going to see if it's working. Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. I wonder if she can hear me.
I don't know.
Hello. I'm just trying to... I won't be able to tell until someone answers. But I don't know if someone answers. So...
We got 2 minutes.
I'll be on as long as I want to, Trinity. I want to talk to this person. But I can't tell if it's ringing. Call failed, it says.
Oh.
What if I do the video, but no... Oh, no, not video. Not video.
Just the audio.
That would have been...
Interesting.
Yeah. FaceTime. Oh, FaceTime audio is what I need, right?
Yep.
All right, let's try that.
It's the most regulated one, so...
Come on.
What are we doing here?
I'm trying. I'm trying to call this person.
Hey, this person, answer the phone.
Answer the phone.
You got a minute.
We got to give away this prize. Look, tell everybody what it is, by the way, while I'm doing this. Why aren't you
So we had the hunt on October 20th.
Yeah.
The hunt was our online scavenger hunt from Instagram. It was an absolute blast. I had a great time.
The baby just hung up on you. What's up?
You just hung up on me.
The baby hung up on you. What's up?
Baby shouldn't hang up on me. All right, so we had a competition recently, right?
Yes.
What was the competition? We had the hunt.
Yes.
Right, and we had the hunt, and so many people participated in the hunt with the Now Matters More Foundation, and today we want to announce the winner of the hunt.
Okay.
There was one person that stood out amongst the rest.
One person stood out amongst the rest.
And this person was an inspiration, I think, to a lot of others.
Yes. So who won,
Are
Trinity?
you guys kidding me?
Who won, Trinity?
I don't know. I think we're on the phone with her right now.
That's right.
Oh
Marissa,
my God.
you're the winner of the hunt. Yay!
Seriously, guys?
You're the winner of the hunt. Congratulations.
You know that thing that I did?
Yeah. Well, you did a lot of things. What thing?
Which one?
No, I'm telling my mom.
Oh.
Oh.
Don't call it a thing. Call it the hunt.
Right now, I won that thing that I did.
No, not the thing
hunt.
that you did. You won the hunt. Tell her what it is.
You hear them? What about Trinity?
We love you too. Right on. So we're gonna calculate how much money was raised, and you're gonna get 50% of that.
Oh my God.
So you're gonna win some money. Congratulations.
And fame.
And fame.
I'm coming down there, by the way.
You are coming down here.
Oh
What?
my God.
So congratulations. I know we did it at the end of the show and we got to go, but I just wanted to congratulate you, Marissa. And we will be posting on our Facebook and our Instagram that you are the winner of the hunt this year.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys.
Not a problem.
Thank
We love you
you.
too. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
They all love you too.
Yay. All right. So we did it.
Yes.
All right. So I better get ready to sign us out then.
She did a fantastic job. by
She
the
did a
way.
fantastic job. So
I like it.
anyway, from all of us here, adios amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye. Regulations suck. No, they're necessary, but not always effective. See ya.
Just get on the couch with the dope doctor. Get on the couch with the dope doctor.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
That was awesome.
He really grows on you, doesn't he?